Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into something really fascinating. We're going to decode how a massive global problem, literally millions of tons of rotting agricultural waste, is being transformed into a highly profitable, premium biomaterial. We'll be looking at the complete blueprint for Ecoleaf leather. It's a project that sits right at this thrilling intersection of industrial biotechnology and really sharp business strategy. So if you've ever wondered how sustainable science actually scales into a real-world business, well, you are definitely in the right place.
Here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the traditional leather problem. Then, we'll introduce Ecoleaf plant-based leather. Next, we'll see how biotechnology makes it all happen. Peek under the hood at the startup's financial blueprint. And finally, explore future growth and global impact.
All right, let's kick things off with part one, the traditional leather problem.
For centuries, humanity has relied on animal hides for clothing, footwear, bags, furniture, you name it. But that legacy comes with a staggering environmental cost. The conventional leather manufacturing process relies heavily on animal slaughter and livestock farming, which, as we know, is a massive driver of greenhouse gas emissions. But honestly, it doesn't even stop there. Processing these hides demands massive, frankly excessive water consumption, and to keep the hides from decomposing, the industry uses these highly toxic tanning chemicals, leaving behind a nasty cocktail of heavy metals that bleed directly into local water systems. It's just a completely resource-draining, highly toxic cycle.
The contrast really couldn't be starker. It's like night and day. On one side, you have the dirty legacy of conventional leather. Heavily reliant on animal hides, incredibly toxic to process, and just massively wasteful when it comes to water. On the flip side, the clean future, plant-based leather. We're talking entirely cruelty-free, derived directly from renewable agricultural waste and fully biodegradable. It's a complete paradigm shift from a destructive model to a truly regenerative one.
Which brings us to part two. Enter Ecoleaf plant-based leather. So what exactly is Ecoleaf leather? Well, it's a premium, sustainable, biodegradable, and cruelty-free biomaterial. And get this, the secret ingredient? Pineapple leaf fibers. I mean, who knew the exact same fruit that causes, endless debates about whether it belongs on pizza could actually solve a global textile crisis? By taking agricultural residues that would normally just be discarded or burned and binding them with natural biopolymers, Ecoleaf mimics the exact durability and aesthetic appeal of traditional leather. It literally solves the agricultural waste problem and the toxic leather problem in one fell swoop.
Now you might be wondering, who's actually going to buy this material? The target markets are huge. We're looking at the fashion industry, footwear manufacturers, handbag producers, furniture makers, and even automotive interior suppliers. Locally in Pakistan, cities like Karachi, Lahore, and Faisalabad have these massive, established fashion and furniture industries that are actively hunting for cheaper, eco-friendly alternatives to expensive animal leather. But globally, the demand is surging even faster. In places like the USA, the UK, Germany, and Japan, strict environmental laws, animal cruelty concerns, and the huge rise in vegan lifestyles have luxury brands and car companies absolutely scrambling for exactly this type of sustainable biomaterial.
Okay, let's get into the science in part three, how biotechnology makes it happen.
Phase one of this process is basically pure science magic in action. It all starts with high cellulose agricultural waste, like our pineapple leaves. Next, beneficial microorganisms step in to naturally soften the plant structure. Then, instead of using harsh acids, specific enzymes, specifically cellulase and hemicellulase, extract the pure cellulose fibers. These are sterilized and mixed with natural biopolymers to form a biocomposite. This is the exact moment where raw plant fiber structurally transforms into what will become leather.
Then we hit phase two, where that composite turns into a finished commercial product. The material is spread out into sheets, where microbial interactions develop the uniform texture and strength of animal leather. These sheets are then compressed and cured under really strict conditions. Natural enzymes and plant-based coatings give it that soft, water-resistant finish, and they do it with absolutely zero harmful chemicals. After rigorous quality control testing for things like tensile strength and biodegradability, it's cut, shaped, and wrapped in eco-packaging, complete with a QR code that gives consumers total transparency into its sustainable journey.
So the science is undeniably brilliant. We are cleanly turning plant waste into a premium material. But that leaves us with one critical question. Is this sustainable science actually commercially viable? Like, can it survive as a real business?
Let's find out in part four, the startup financial blueprint.
What makes this incredibly compelling is how accessible the initial setup is. The entire startup investment is just 200,000 rupees, and it's structured across 4 founders. Taha takes the 40% lion's share to secure raw materials and the production setup. Adil brings in 25% for machinery funding. Saqib covers packaging and branding with 20%. And finally, Umais dedicates his 15% share entirely to marketing and distribution. It is an absolute masterclass in lean, highly targeted capital allocation.
And here is where the math gets really fun. If they sell 100 sheets of Ecoleaf leather at 1,500 rupees each, that generates 150,000 rupees in revenue. Subtract exactly 75,000 in monthly expenses, and you are left with a massive 50% net profit margin right out of the gate. This is proof that sustainable manufacturing can actually be incredibly lucrative.
To ground those numbers in reality, let's quickly run through that 75,000 rupee monthly operating expense. The bulk of it goes to raw materials and labor, taking up 50,000 rupees combined. The remaining 25,000 super efficiently covers everything else: eco-packaging, marketing, and local transport. It's a tightly controlled ledger designed to protect that massive 50% margin.
This naturally leads us to Part 5, Future Growth and Global Impact. This team has a seriously aggressive 5-year business forecast. Starting at 100 sheets a month in the 2026 startup phase, they are projecting national growth to reach 250 sheets by 2028. By 2029, they pivot to exports, aiming for a full international presence by 2030, moving 500 sheets a month. And the revenue scales right along with it, jumping from 150,000 rupees to a very impressive 750,000 rupees monthly. I really want to emphasize the scale of that ambition. 500 sheets a month by 2030. Hitting that volume isn't just a financial win, it represents real, significant penetration into strict, eco-conscious export markets. We're talking about supplying luxury fashion houses and automotive interior suppliers in places like the UK, France, and Italy, with a material that absolutely meets rigorous international sustainability standards.
At the end of the day, it all comes back to their core mission. Ecoleaf leather aims to provide a high-quality, durable, and aesthetically appealing leather substitute that meets consumer demands while promoting sustainable development. This blueprint proves that environmental responsibility and a highly profitable business model just aren't mutually exclusive anymore. Agricultural waste is literally being turned into premium value. So, as global regulations get stricter and the demand for vegan products absolutely explodes, we have to ask, will traditional, toxic leather soon become nothing more than a relic of the past? With scalable blueprints like Ecoleaf proving what is actually possible today, the writing really is on the wall. Thanks so much for watching this explainer. Stay curious and keep learning.